Stuart and I are joined by Brendan McCullum. That was some series, boss.
Yeah, it was a cracking series. That's as good a five-match series I've ever been a part of or I've witnessed. I think, just oscillated so much right throughout the 6 weeks, and I felt like it had everything. I thought there was quite a lot of hostility at times. There was camaraderie at other times. There was some brilliant cricket at times. There was some average cricket because of the pressures that both sides were under. I was thinking right throughout, we knew it was going to be hard coming into the series. We knew it was going to test us physically and mentally. But I think it's fair to say that it probably tested both teams more than what we both expected. But just an absolute cracking series to be a part of. And I felt after when Siraj took that final wicket, as much as we were incredibly disappointed, I had admiration for him and the fight that he's got as a cricketer and the way he was able to do what he did to bowl his team to a test win. I felt 2-2 was a fair reflection for the series.
When you look around the dressing room at times during this series, talk about the mental challenges that your team are facing, and Gautam Gambhir will be looking at a similar scene, I'd imagine, in his dressing room. The challenges when it's so condensed, it's going down to the last ball of every day almost, and just the pressure that these guys have to deal with and then still come out and perform.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we knew coming into the 6 weeks that it was going to test us physically, but I think the physical exertion that we had, that playing all 5 days of all 5 tests takes, becomes quite a mental exertion as well. And I thought the way that the guys dealt with that, we obviously had to call in some fresh legs in this last test match, and as the other guys had left everything out there. But you can't prepare. You know that it's coming, but you don't know it's coming until it hits you, I think. And I'm sure Brody will be able to he'd be able to allude to that as well. He's been through it so many times himself. It's just the hardest thing in cricket, is playing a 5-match series and being tested as much as what you are for as long as what you are. And that's just why the game is such a great game, and it challenges you not just as a sportsman, but also challenges your character and questions whether how much you want it, because you know that the opposition's going to at the same time. So I just, as a fan of the game, I thought it was just an unbelievable spectacle, and it was just a pleasure to be a part of.
Is it a case of what might have been for you? I mean, there's so many incidents throughout this entire series. You had a 0-for-2 at Old Trafford, and then here in this game yesterday when Harry and Joe had the game by the scruff of the neck. Opportunities missed there?
Yeah, but you're always naturally going to have opportunities which come and go through a series, right? I think India will probably look back to some other opportunities they had, maybe in that first test at Headingley when they had a big score on the board and they weren't able to make inroads, and even at Lords when they were getting the score down and they had us under some pressure. So I think that's what the natural rhythm of a game will always serve up certain situations. I think at Old Trafford, I was proud of our efforts. I thought we threw everything at them. We tried different things, and ultimately India were able to fight, and they were able to prolong the series into this test. And even this last night when we had Harry Brook and Joe Root playing as well as what they were and counter-attacking in their style, for India to then come back and take 7 for 60, it's just another great example of what can happen in this great game we play.
Can I take you back to brilliant win at Headingley, then you get beaten quite convincingly at Edgbaston. Did you say anything to the changing room after that to be able to bounce back at Lords?
Well, nothing that was overly profound, no. It was just more, just keep doing more of what we're doing and just do a little bit better and make sure that, one thing that I think for us we've been very good at over the last few years has been able to play our style of cricket. When we go away from that, and maybe try and play like other teams, we're nowhere near as effective. I think our defence becomes vulnerable and our wicket-taking ability drops. If we stay true to what we believe in and we just keep doing it and back it in, almost double down on that philosophy, it gives us our greatest opportunity. I think that was what we were able to do at Lords. I thought the way we bounced back in the air and we constantly search for wickets with the ball, and we're always trying to come up with new plans and new ways to take wickets. And with bat in hand, I felt we were brave when we needed to be. I looked at Harry Brook's 20-odd that he got at Lords, and I thought that was an incredibly brave innings, knowing that it was going to be a low-scoring shootout in the last innings. So there was many different things throughout the series where I felt we grew as a team. It's hard to say that when you've lost the last test, but I felt the changing room was growing and it was becoming more and more familiar with understanding that when we play our style, it gives us our greatest chance. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it gives us our greatest chance.
My favourite moment of the series actually was after Washington Sundar had sort of said a few things in the press about India winning, and we panned onto you on the Lord's balcony. You just sort of said, "This guy, let's raise it." Was that led by you? Because the intensity then the team showed and the bowlers showed was what Test match cricket's about. It was aggressive, it was intense, it applied pressure to the opposition. Did you feel like, as we're getting blown everywhere, did you feel like you had to sort of say that to the group just to lift their emotions a bit?
Well, it actually came from some of the other guys. I was just reminding them of what we had talked about. But I think even that, I thought it was great drama right throughout the series. Both teams going at each other but without crossing the line, and that's what you want, right? It's not easy out there, and you represent your country, and you're playing for all the millions of fans which support your team. You expect passion, you expect confrontation, and there's certain moments and there's certain times where you know that there's key periods of play, and we felt that was one of those key times, and the guys identify it, so I was just merely trying to remind them.
Can I ask you about Ben, the player, not his captaincy? Runs in Old Trafford, wonderful 100. He's been your best bowler probably in the series, but again, he's back to bowling those long spells. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily the contributing factor as to why he went in the shoulder at Old Trafford, couldn't play here. But are you happy with him going back to doing that? Because he's shaking his head. Can he do that, given the injuries that he's had? Because you are a very different side when he's not balancing it.
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, Stokes, he's a once-in-a-generation cricketer, right? He bowls high 80 mile an hour with immense skill, long, sustained spells. He makes things happen with bat in hand. He's got the most Test sixes the game's ever seen and can turn a game and absorb pressure as good as anyone I've seen. And obviously he's an inspirational captain who the guys follow, and he plays cards every time he's a captain. He's always looking at how he advances the game and transfers pressure on the opposition. So, look, are those the qualities he possesses they come about because of his personality, because through force of will, he's able to make things work. And sometimes that means he's got to bowl long periods, or he's got to take himself to dark places. So you can't have one without the other, and unfortunately sometimes it does lead to injuries, and that's just part and parcel of it. So I would never want him to change. There's times where if someone else can do the heavy lifting during those times, I'd encourage them to do so. But for the best part, if there's a game on the line, then Ben Stokes is someone that you want with the ball in the hand or in the key passage of play, and he'll leave everything out on the field in Australia, and I don't think any of us want that any other way.
I'll talk to you about the bowlers in this game, because you obviously had to change things around, and Chris Woakes went down with that shoulder injury. How did they do? Because Josh Tongue looked a bit rusty. When you look back, could he have had some more cricket somewhere else to perhaps get rid of that rustiness, if indeed that was what it was?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because you want guys around the group, and you want them to be able to still be in touch with how the environment's operating, and you're still trying to get much speed with working around the nets and stuff. But to be honest, I thought Josh Tongue on that first morning, the big boys, Josh and Jamie Overton were struggling a little bit with the foot marks, and once they were able to, I guess, push through that period, I thought they bowled exceptionally well. I think, you don't ever anticipate losing a bowler in a Test match, especially your experienced bowler. We're left with three seamers who have got 20 Test matches between them, bowling 88 out of 97 overs to try and bowl your team to a Test win. And I thought they bowled absolutely brilliantly. Josh Tongue's got 19 wickets in 3 matches. Jamie Overton's hitting 90 mile an hour deep into his last spell in this Test match. And obviously Gus Atkinson taking 8 for and showing what he's capable of doing even after such a long layoff. So I couldn't be prouder of the lads, to be honest. I thought they were superb, and just proud of the entire team and just all the efforts that they put in.
One player that wasn't here was Mark Wood. There was a talk that perhaps he could have made this Test match. Where's he at? What's his prognosis going forward?
He'd be good to go for Australia.
Cool. Jacob Bethell, not played a lot of cricket, asked to come into a Test match, and you looked like he hadn't batted for a while. There was times, I know you like the players around the group, but would that have been better for him to go and spend some time in the middle somewhere?
Well, I guess you never know, right? But from our point of view, Jacob Bethell, we see a talent which is, his best years are well in front of him. What he's already done in international cricket is show how good he can be, show that he's not overawed by a situation. And I thought, when he went out to bat yesterday, even the ball started moving quite a lot. They challenged us, they adjusted their lengths, they set straighter fields, and they were able to hit the areas that they wanted consistently, and that's going to challenge any batter. Even Joe Root started his scoring rate dropped a little bit as well, which shows how difficult it is when a guy like Joe Root, 39 Test 100 under his belt, and he's on 100, starts struggling in those conditions too. So, look, Beth will he'll be back, and he'll be better for the experience. And you never know until you get in those times, and I'm sure he'll learn from it. The good thing was I thought he took a positive option. I think it's the thing that people want to be seen to be doing is getting out to a ball in an acceptable manner, but sometimes you've got to be brave enough to be able to try and put some pressure back on the opposition, and he got out doing it, but no one ever regretted being positive, right?
Could you have been a bit braver today with the bat? There's a couple of timid shots from Jamie Smith outside the off stump, which I don't think we've seen from him in Test match cricket.
Yeah, look, I mean, retrospectively, we probably could have been braver a little bit even last night, but that's, again, I look at the way Siraj in particular was able to operate. He was getting the ball to swing beautifully. It was an 80-plus old ball, and obviously overcast conditions and the lights on. You know, it's tough batting conditions, right? And when you're in that late sort of swing, and still being able to also bowl the ball that comes back in and challenges your front pad, which he showed on a couple of occasions. It's tough out there. So you need a couple of things to go your way, and ultimately we had our chance in this game. We dropped 6 catches and 7 for 60 in the back end of the game. You don't win too many games doing that, but we gave ourselves every chance because we stuck to the style of play that just gives us our greatest opportunity.
How well set are you for the Ashes? And could you just explain why it's only one warm-up game? It's not like a couple, perhaps?
Well, I think things have changed a bit from the old days, Wardy. I don't think you need too many warm-up games these days. I think the best thing to do is to try and get the guys prepared as well as what you possibly can. I think since I've taken over, we've pretty much won every first game of every series that we've operated in, and we've run the same structure as what we're going to down in Australia. And you've got to have conviction in what you believe is going to give your players the best opportunity to perform, and that's the conviction that we've got.
Just finally on Chris Woakes, didn't look good. How's he doing?
No, he's good on Wokesy for walking out there and
incredibly brave.
Unbelievably brave. But I mean, it sums up Wokesy, right? He'd do anything for the team. He has done. He's been around English cricket for a long time now, and for him to go down in the manner that he did, yet still push himself out there with one arm effectively to try and get us across the line. It sums up the type of bloke he is. But we'll get some more information in the coming days, and we hope that it's not going to be too long a layoff for him.
Appreciate your time.
Cheers, Wardy.
Thank you very much.